from the field. Troops of the Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadinkai under Operation Desert Sanity 5 have arrested a 65-year-old suspected drug dealer, Hawa Abdulaziz, in Askira Uba local government area of Borno State for allegedly supplying cannabis sativa to Boko Haram terrorists operating in the area. During the operation, troops recovered 14 compressed blocks of cannabis sativa weighing approximately 30 kilograms, disrupting resources intended to sustain terrorist and criminal activities. And another good news from the region, as Senator representing Borno South, Ali Ndume, has commended the federal government and Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Zulum for the successful relocation and resettlement of displaced persons by Boko Haram and Islamic State West Africa Province ISWAP insurgents who had lived in exile in Cameroon for over a decade. I mean, gentlemen, kudos actually, should be given to the military, for tracking and identifying the suspects after years of operating, within the supply chain. I mean, don't you agree? This is a beautiful one for the Nigerian military.
I think it's two-edged sword, and if there's anything more than two-edged sword, why we celebrate that this is a huge one, it's also to promote the idea of local intelligence, where people need to fish out the enemies of the people. Because I want to assume that a good number of people must have detected this woman all this while. But, military was able to work on this intelligence and were able to track this woman out, and to also say that when we work together, when there is no ulterior motive, when there is no bad belly, allow me to use that word, that it has to be negative about this government, then we will confront terror holistically, and we'll be able to deal with it. Probably it's not yet time to talk about doom.
Yeah, we'll still get to the
So
senator.
for me, I think it's a good thing, and it's to also fish out many people like that. Let's see those who were coerced into it, and let's see those who are genuinely or wickedly working against the interests of the state. Because this is not about avarice, this is not just about money, it's also about the wickedness, the humanity of woman to woman, or of man to man, so to say. I don't want to put it on the gender issue. So I feel that it's shameful, it is painful that such a woman could indulge in such things.
I mean, but the next question will then be, was she acting alone, independently, or was she part of a larger, structured, logistics syndicate?
No, she couldn't have been acting alone now. I mean, drugs. In the drug, in drug trafficking, there are different layers, and there are structures, in drug trafficking business. There are the kingpins, those who are at the top, who bring out the money, who control the various, who control the different steps of the hierarchy, down to the mules. She was very likely a 65-year-old woman. Of course, nobody would suspect that a 65-year-old woman, just walking on her own could be carrying drugs. But of course, experience has shown that in the the global war against narcotics, that nobody is exempt from being used as a mule, as a trafficker. Nobody is exempt. Anybody.
But what could be the reason? Is it poverty,
it's basically
ideology?
Poverty. No, it's not about ideology. Ideology, she wasn't carrying a gun now. If she was carrying a gun, you could say ideology. It's poverty now. And by the way, there's possibility she may not have known, the legal consignment she was carrying. She may they may just have packaged it. Of course, if you heard stories of people who got into trouble, even Nigerians who got into trouble in foreign lands, by carrying, carry this, help me. Just at at an airport, please just help me carry this thing and just pass that place, or please, okay, you are traveling abroad, please help me deliver this. Those days people were just innocently, until when people started getting arrested. Then these days people will say, no, what to open everything, let me see.
Yes.
And some people will outrightly say no, that they won't carry anything for anybody. That, okay, I don't mind, I can pay for a logistics company to move it for you to wherever. But for me to carry your luggage, I won't do that. So, if you look at the woman, you just see, she's just one of the runners, on the streets, and the main thing is poverty, because of course that terrorists make very good use, of the environment, the environment of poverty, and that's one of the socioeconomic factors, helping terrorism to thrive. Right. So not just her, you can even little children. You see people. People have been giving bombs, young people giving bombs to go and detonate,
All right, right about now, I've just been told that BKO has joined us via Zoom. BKO, it's good to have you join us on the show.
Thank you.
All right, BKO, we're talking about this 65-year-old woman, supplying drugs to Boko Haram. But could disrupting drug supply significantly weaken, the Boko Haram group's fighting capacity here?
Yes, it will certainly have a significant impact. These boys consume a lot of illicit drugs, cannabis, tramadol especially. Remember some years back, when a truck loaded with tramadol heading for the Sambisa forest through Adamawa State was intercepted. They need to be heavily on drugs for them to do some of the wicked things that they do. A man gets a knife and he slashes the throat of the people that he had captured. It's not easy to do that. So most of the time they are already drugged before they are made to even agree to put on that suicide vest to go and kill people. It takes somebody heavily on drugs to do some of the things that they do. And that is why when they are arrested and they have no access to the drugs that they usually take, you then see that they are very sober. Within a short time, they are very sober. They are full of regrets. Because at the time when they were carrying out those nefarious activities, they were already heavily on drugs and can barely even explain their actions. So they need these drugs to keep them going. And they pay heavily. They pay heavily to be able to access the things that they need. I've talked about things like Maggi and key supplies like bread, like petrol. They pay heavily to get people to supply them. And because they pay well over the odds, people are then attracted, people are tempted to work as suppliers, logistics suppliers to them. They can't get these things into the forest where they are easily. They need some Nigerians to work with them. And that's why we always say that without the full support of Nigerians, it is impossible for us to defeat these terrorists and bandits. People continue to work for them, who are their logistics suppliers. They are the people enabling their activities. And a good number of those people reside in our communities. Remember the case of the woman who was carrying a travel bag in Katsina State. And when she was arrested, they found that she had actually had cellophane bags that she had put petrol in. And then she put those bags inside a travel bag. So you could easily mistake what she was carrying for maybe clothes and all that. But she was actually carrying petrol. You know, the kind of plastic bags that they use to, that people grind pepper used to pack the pepper that they have grounded. That is the sort of plastic bag that she put petrol in. It's fairly durable, so it does not tear easily.
All right, now because of our time, okay, we still have the other side of this conversation. I mean, Kaidi, talk about Senator Ali Ndume, because Senator Ali Ndume has often been perceived as someone who is always at odds, you know, especially with the president. But let's talk about, he's hailing the federal government and also the Borno state government for what they've done, bringing this persons back to the, but want to know what role did the federal government and the state government play in making this return possible?
So it's a tripartite collaboration where we have the federal government, the Borno state government, and the Cameroonian government. And these have been signed like more than 10 years ago. I remember the Minister of Interior then, Dan Bazao, you know, who was one of the people who pioneered this. So for me, I think for Ndume, he definitely should be excited. The people are back to their ancestral home. And one of the conditions in that tripartite agreement that people must be willing, it must be a voluntary decision to say, I want to go back home, because there's no place like home.
True.
You know, it could be a very terrible memory when they remember how some of their loved ones were killed and all those things. And for them to say, I want to go back home, you would know that they are missing home. You would know that there is so much that they've lost. And it might also be a confidence booster for them and the government to ensure that these places are secured. So for me, I think it's a win-win, and I don't want to even think whatever Ndume is saying is political. He's just excited that, like somebody will say only a fool without a proof. There's a proof that this is deliberate. This is something worth celebrating. And no matter how much I criticize this government, I think I must give them this kudos. That's the way I see it.
I mean, how do you weigh in here?
No, displacement of Nigeria should not become a lucrative industry. I mean, you know, people shouldn't just be allowed to go in somewhere, displace people, and then some people are happy, you know, to keep people outside their natural environment, you know, because it's lucrative. There are supplies of food and other things. So I'm happy that Governor Zulum, you know, he had actually said some years ago that he was looking forward to when IDP camps will be closed down and people will return.
We all do.
So it's you know, kudos to him that he has you know, he has at least put his money where his mouth is. You know, now beyond that, I think steps should be taken to protect the people as they return home. You know, there should be security, there should be plans for security, there should be these safe camps, you know, whether of the police, of the military, you know, in those remote areas. And then the military should continue bombing these terrorists, you know, and keep up the push against them. And it should also be other governors, you know, governors in states ravaged by insecurity should also take a cue from this, you know, that don't allow people to just stay internally, because there are countries where this kind of thing, where people have been in camps, refugee camps, for years. In fact, they've now become like indigents of refugee camps. So that should not be allowed to happen in Nigeria. Because we know how we value our you know, natural
Absolutely. I mean, BK, first of all, how do you weigh in here? Senator Ali Ndume is hailing the federal government and also the governor for the return, you know, of the resident. But beyond returning home, what long-term plans do you think should be in place, you know, for the people to, you know, to rebuild their livelihoods after years of being away on exile? First
and foremost, his name is Ali Ndume, not Ndume. Ali Ndume, just as Dino Melaye is the correct pronunciation, not Melaye. So I'm usually happy when we pronounce people's names correctly.
Okay, thank you.
So the reality is the governor of Borno State has done so much to secure the communities that had been left desolate by years of Boko Haram insurgency. Recently, the governor relocated people from Niger Republic to Abadam local government. Abadam local government is where you have Malam Fatori, is located along the border with Niger Republic, not far from the Far Prefecture in Niger Republic. This was where the great tank commander Abu Ali was killed. Malam Fatori. Our soldiers have been guiding that place since 2014, but nobody has lived in that place until recently. Just soldiers guiding the place, civilians not staying there. So, but the governor has succeeded now in relocating people to Malam Fatori, headquarters of Abadan local government. And is doing that in other parts of the state, including communities that are not along the border with either Niger or Cameroon or Chad. What the governor is trying to do is to bring people back so that they don't continue to live a life of destitution where they are. He is trying to close all the IDP camps so that people can return home, return to their family and fend for themselves, rather than living on handouts in the IDP camps, both in Nigeria and outside Nigeria. In fact, when he visited Chad some time ago to see the IDPs, the people surged forward, and in the process, people were trampled. Some of them lost their lives. The governor went there to give them some money and some pieces of clothing. So he wants people to return home. Borno is a center of agri-production, and there is so much progress being made in that state. In fact, Borno has now begun to export plastics to neighboring countries. This is what this governor has been able to do in spite of the adversity that he has had to confront. Now, what they need to do is secure those places, because I've seen people relocated to some communities and terrorists decided to attack them in those communities and killed many of them in that same Borno state. So there has to be sufficient protection for the people who are returning home. I'm happy with that the Cameroonians and the UN have been working with us, including the Red Cross, working with us to solve this problem, return people to their ancestral homes. But what is most important at this time is for the military to provide security for the people. The governor has built a number of housing schemes where these people are being relocated. Some communities, he built several units of houses for them so that they can find where to stay. So he's done that, and I'm sure that he will continue to do that, and also give them ample opportunity to farm.
Okay.
Last year, Borno recorded tremendous harvest. This is going to continue as more and more of the people return home.
Okay.
So this is, I'm really happy that this is happening, and I hope it continues.
Absolutely, we all are. All right, straight to our next conversation. Okay, before we go on the show,